This is lesson 2. Where is the fresh water? Fresh water comes to Earth as rain and snowmelt. It travels over landforms called watersheds. In streams and rivers that channel the water down to the salty oceans. In this lesson, kids observe and discuss a simple water supply demonstration that compares amounts of fresh and salt water on our planet. Then they make a watershed model. They observe how water travels over it, forming streams and rivers to the sea. They form a wetland, create a pollution problem, and finally make a dam across the river and observe how the water is affected. For the water supply demonstration, you will need the gallon jug of water, some blue food coloring, 2 very small containers, a 1/4 measuring cup, and a tablespoon. In advance of class, color the gallon of water in a clear jug with blue food coloring. Pour 1/4 cup of the blue water into 1 small container. Pour 1 tablespoon of water into the other small clear container. Set up this demo on a small table in the middle of the circle of chairs for all to observe. After opening remarks, hold up the jug of water and explain that it represents 98% of water on Earth, the salt water in oceans. Next, hold up the 1/4 cup of water, which represents 1.5% of water that is fresh, but is frozen in the ice caps and glaciers. Last, hold up the tablespoon of water, which represents 0.5% of water available for all the people, plants, and animals on the land. Use background information to discuss the 2 sources from which we can get a fresh water supply, surface water and groundwater. Do kids know which supplies their community? The watershed model enables kids to visualize how rainwater and snowmelt move across the land, bringing fresh water to life on land. It also can demonstrate how pollutants are carried along in the water and how wetlands and dams modify the flow of the water. For each team of kids, you will need newspaper, a sheet of white plastic, a large plastic tray or flat box, waterproof marker, blue and red food coloring, a spray bottle of water, a US map, and paper towels. To set up the watershed model, loosely crumple 2 sheets of newspaper. Making a successful watershed model depends on how the newspaper is crumpled. Do not wad it up too tightly. That's good. Place the newspaper in the plastic box with space between the 2 pieces. Drape the plastic sheet over the newspapers, fitting it between the pieces of newspaper to form hills and a valley. Okay. Be sure the water generally will flow into the valley and to the front of the box. Use a marker to draw streams on the hillsides, joining together to form a river in the valley. Okay. Half fill the spray bottle with water colored blue. The first activity. Kids spray water onto their model and observe how it flows down the hillsides, forming streams and a river in the valley. The land area that drains into a river is called a watershed. Its boundary is the high ridge line at the top of the hills and mountains. The other side of the hill is in a different watershed. All land is in a watershed. All watersheds drain into streams and rivers that bring the water back to the sea. To demonstrate a wetland, fold a piece of paper towel and place it in the valley. Or I should say place it on a hillside would be better. Yes. When the kids spray rain on their model, water soaks into the paper towel and the flow of the stream is stopped or slowed. Wetlands, such as marshes, function this way in the natural world. This is important for flood control and for homes for a diversity of wildlife. To demonstrate a dam and a reservoir, make a barrier in the valley with a fold of the plastic sheet. Spray until water collects behind the barrier. This man-made control of the flow of a river creates a reservoir, a water resource for large populations. Is that visible enough? For a pollution observation, drop a little red food coloring on the hillsides and spray. Where does the pollution go? The children's book, Letting Swift River Go by Jane Yolen, tells the story of the creation of Quabbin Reservoir for a water supply for the city of Boston 60 miles to the east. 4 towns were flooded, destroying homes, schools, churches, entire communities. It is an excellent resource for discussion of environmental justice.